actually had the first meeting of a group of people we thought might be interested, all women, and had the first meeting at our house in November of '87. And the first meeting of the actual service board, because I think everybody agreed to be part of it, was again at our house in January of '88. And our first benefit was that summer at Ravinia. So as president of the first board, I got to hand over the first check, and it was $13,000. I remember that. And turned that over at a dinner after the event. We had a good time, and I got to know some wonderful people in the process.
When I saw this ad in the Winnetka Talk, I decided to volunteer. So I was in the second class of volunteering at Skokie School, and Liz Letourneau was the president, and Jackie Holland was the nurse. We went through the training service, and I was a volunteer for a number of years, maybe about 10 or 12 years. And in being a volunteer, my favorite patient was a young lady in her 40s, had 2 boys, and they were Ann Lyman's. The gal that died was Ann Lyman's best friend. So with this interest, my husband Tom was on the board. Tom recommended Ann Lyman to start up a auxiliary board. And Ann started the auxiliary board, which I then joined too. And eventually, I think I was the second or third president of the auxiliary board. And as it turned out, it was one of the nicest experiences I've ever had.
I was approached to be on the board of directors for hospice. We started out at that time with only 4 patients. And the chairman of the board turned to me and said, "Well, you're new, why don't you try to get more patients for us?" So I began the thoughts of how could we possibly do that. We needed community awareness. Hospice was a new concept in America. This was 1987. England was going strong with hospice, but not here. So we needed to let the community know what was being offered here. I called together some of my close friends, including Peg and Julie Johnson, Diane Beamer, Louise Holland, and a few other very stalwart, wonderful people who had tremendous outreach in the community. We sat down in my living room on Tower Road and talked about this concept. We identified that our goals were going to be twofold: community awareness and fundraising. No one in the room wanted to do any fundraising, but they understood community awareness and how important that was. What we started in community awareness in that tiny little living room talking about it over coffee has worked.
The biggest obstacles were to get people to recognize the importance and why we were doing this. We were like-minded, but there were so many other things that were competing, and why it was important for people to really see that this was something that was needed to really explore and to implement all the other things that were going on with hospice.
The greatest accomplishments, I think, are raising awareness. It's really being ambassadors in the community to let people know that while it may seem scary at first, it's really a very gentle concept, and that there are people who will shepherd you through.
From a personal point of view, when I became president, I just remember being so thankful and grateful that when a couple of people who I knew were involved with big boards downtown who were ready to make a change, you know, like Paul Armstrong and Catherine Bueller and Susan and Christopher Mundy, who are friends of mine, all kind of joined. That was a favorite moment for me because that was a relief. And then, you know, they continued to bring their friends. So Ann's concept, which she had seen, you know, the need for, was coming to fruition. That, you know, younger people were joining with more experience in doing larger benefits, and the numbers, you know, I think they might have started at 25,000 back in the old days, you know, went to 60,000 to 100,000 to 250,000, and, you know, up. And so that was just really good to see.
When I was first involved, we had, it was kind of a big surge of energy in the group. A lot of people were learning about what hospice was and what palliative care was. So that was exciting to be able to share that and learn from Martha Twaddle and be a part of that.
One of the years that I was co-chair was 9/11. I lost a cousin that day, and we had already been working very hard towards this event that was to occur on Friday. And we went actually to the venue that morning to set up, and around noon we decided that this event just should not continue, just considering everything that had happened that week, and to postpone it. That evening we still ended up having, I think, 50 to 70 people at Skokie Country Club to celebrate life and also to honor the people that lost their lives that day. And it was a really powerful message, I think. But subsequently we had the event in November, and we were concerned as to how that would go over, and we ended up having twice as many people attend the event. The outpouring and support was amazing, and we raised, I think, upwards of over $400,000 that year. This year we lost a really pivotal member of our organization, Paula Armstrong. She was a great philanthropist. We were very lucky to have her as a part of our service board. Helped to start the golf tournament, supported Stories of Life, was very involved with the gala for many years, brought in a lot of great energy to this organization, was able to really get the message out as to what our mission was, where we wanted to go. It's been amazing to see all of her efforts and the efforts of the service board in terms of this land that we acquired, then subsequently building the offices, and then now this inpatient unit. It's just really a testament to her and to the entire service board, past, present, and current.
When I first started many, many years ago, it was called Comfort Zone, and it was in the city usually, and it was on a Friday night, and they would serve comfort food, and they would have massage chairs and everything we talked about. It was really a fun party, and it was for a good cause. I mean, it was like such a win-win. It was really special and different from other fundraisers that I'd been involved with.
And I think the service board has been very successful in their efforts, and I think they will continue to be so. They've raised a lot of money, and it's just a wonderful cause that everyone on the service board seems to have a very personal feeling for.
Now working with the junior board, it's really surprised me how they have been able to grasp the concept at being a freshman in high school and being able to understand end-of-life care. And I think that it's good for them too. I think that it solves a lot of their fears of dying, or fears of grandparents or parents maybe being at that stage of their life. And I'm so impressed at how they talk to friends about it. So I think that's been very rewarding for me, and I think for the girls too, to be able to leave with that knowledge and go on to college and beyond and want to stay involved. They all want to stay involved in some level, and so that's gratifying too.
My mother, Jackie Holland, is one of the founders, and I think one of the most moving days for me personally was coming and doing a tour of the new pavilion with Roy Leonard and the Wad family and my mother, and walking through it, just seeing the body language that my mother had of just amazement at how incredible the growth has been, and our entrenchment in the community and the value that we bring. So that was a really meaningful day for me to see it through my mom's eyes.
Giving of yourself is one of the greatest gifts you can give in this world, I believe. But as much as I gave to other people, I got it tenfold back. I met wonderful people in the organization. I met wonderful people outside of the organization. It was just a life-changing experience.